Labor MP Andrew Charlton defends climate plan but concedes he has not adopted solar panels or electric vehicles. But he wants to force these on everybody else by 2030, though. All right, Labor MP Andrew Charlton has admitted he has no solar panels, no battery, and no electric car, even as he promotes renewables as the cheapest form of energy. So why doesn't he have nothing but renewables then? Why is he intentionally paying more money? Why doesn't he go to the cheapest form of energy? He wants to force all the rest of you on it, but he's not willing to do it himself? That's kind of weird, isn't it? This really does remind me of Obamacare. How all of these scumbags in Congress voted to exempt themselves from it. So they voted to force it on the rest of us, but they also exempted themselves from it. Yeah, that told us all we needed to know about whether it was really good or not. All right, Labor MP Andrew Charlton has admitted he does not own solar panels, batteries, or an electric vehicle. The admission filed Energy Minister Chris Bowen declaring Australians have a power station on their roof, in their garage, on their driveway with their batteries. His colleague, Mr. Charlton, claimed that renewables were the cheapest form of new power into the grid and essential to the nation's future, even though he doesn't own any. So he'd rather be part of the problem and not the solution. Is that it? The multimillionaire Parameta MP told Sky News that without serious climate action, the country risks impacts on public health, natural disasters, and coastal regions. But it's all the rest of you that are expected to make the sacrifices to prevent this. I'm not gonna. That's for you peasants. But impressed about his personal circumstances, he conceded he has not adopted the very technologies his government has urged the public to embrace. Yeah, why not lead by example, dumbass? I do not have an electric vehicle, but I know a lot of people are taking up electric vehicles. Yeah, I don't have one, but I'm not gonna. You peasants need to make the sacrifice. You need to live in grass huts so I feel less guilty about flying on my private jet. And then I could do what Bill Gates did. I'll force other people to change their lifestyles. And then I will claim that I reduced all that other carbon. And it's way more than the carbon I'm emitting on my private jet. Yeah, I don't have solar panels or batteries, but plenty of Australians do, and that's a good thing. Yeah, all these other people who aren't me, they're doing this, so it's good enough for me. Yeah, asked whether, a strong advocate for climate action, he should lead by example. Mr. Charlton said he would think about it. So basically, no. Different circumstances make it appropriate for some people to have them and other people not. Okay, then why is your government legislating that everyone needs to have them by a certain time then? Don't care about their different circumstances? From the government's perspectives, our role is to support these choices. We've done that by providing support for solar panels for people who want to have electric vehicles, home batteries. You're not supporting. You're trying to coerce people into these choices. The comments come as the Albanese government ramps up its all renewables agenda, preparing to unveil an ambitious 2035 emissions reduction target, which their own politicians aren't going to participate in. With that target expected to fall below the previously floated range of 65 to 75%, will be justified in part by the government's national climate risk assessment. The report modeled scenarios up to 3 degrees Celsius global warming, warning that the risks to communities, property, and economy were very high or severe. Yeah, meanwhile, actual studies are coming out showing that it's not nearly as big of a deal as they're fear-mongering about. But so much money is riding on this being true now. They're going to make it true. Mr. Charlton rejected claims the government's report amounted to doomsday warnings and said it was a serious piece of scientific work. You're not allowed to challenge it, though, or else you're a climate denier. But it's totally real science. You're just not allowed to question whether it was or not. The evidence is that climate change does make natural disasters more frequent, and that's something that we should be taking into account, he said. I wish we could hold these people accountable for the lies they spread while they were in office. So if it turns out that like 20 years later, everyone recognizes this was a lie, everyone who was parroting that lie and spreading it should be held accountable, personally. According to the report, Australians could face more than a 400% rise in heat-related deaths and nearly 200 extra days of coastal flooding annually. And what are you going to do if that doesn't happen? Just like all the other climate doomsday predictions. When they don't happen, are you going to be held accountable? No, you're just going to be moving on to your next one. Energy and Climate Change Minister Chris Bowen described the threats as cascading, compounding, concurrent. The government has legislated a target of 43% emissions reduction by 2030, though experts will warn that will not be met. I mean, unless you literally just want to cut power plants. Business groups remain split on how much further to go by 2035, with the Business Council of Australia estimating that 60% require up to $480 billion. God, they're just they're going to be wasting all their money on this fucking pipe dream. I wonder when who's going to be the first country that just realizes this is all bullshit and backs off of it. For the record, I think researching and developing renewable sources is a good idea because we're going to need them at some point. But forcing widespread adoption before they're ready, that's where I draw the line. Nah, man, we still got plenty of time to get this shit right and make it affordable. So we definitely should be spending some time and money on the research. But the forced adoption, that needs to change. You're not going to win anyone any favors with yet another climate doomsday prediction that's not going to come true. And then you're just going to distract by moving on to a different one.